Hi and welcome to another Type with me. In this video I want to explore Bun, Elysia and HTMX. As a tech stack, these are three technologies that are really cool to use. They are quite new but very promising. So Bun is a very fast JavaScript runtime package manager, and it is a bundler, right? So it's in the same realm as Dino and Node.js. It's very cool. It's very easy. It's compatible to all these ecosystems within the JavaScript world, and in that regard, definitely worth to look at. If we then go to Elysia, it's an ergonomic framework for humans. Well, actually, it's similar like Express.js for Node.js. It can very easily create a server-side REST API where you go to a certain URL and it gives you content back. And then we have HTMX, and HTMX is actually a rising star in the front-end frameworks. It is very small, it's cool to use, and it gives HTML superpowers to perform AJAX or WebSockets or other kind of things that the browser needs. And when it does a call, for example, with AJAX, it returns just other HTML back and it can replace HTML and so on. But it's cool to talk about it, but it's much cooler to just use it within our application. So first of all, I want to create an Elysia application. Here we go. It creates an Elysia application. If you go to the index.ts, you see here elysia.get or slash, and then we return hello Elysia, and we listen through 3000. If we now do this, we go to cd app, and then we add Elysia.js/static. Elysia.js/static is a plugin for Elysia.js to add a static folder there so that you very easily can serve content from a public folder. Of course, we need to use that folder. So what we will do then is go here and say this add missing declaration, which is not good. And I also need to have an import, right? And so we import it from Elysia.js/static. So what we then can do is just add a index.html, what we have right here. Then we can refer towards the HTMX script, and we have a div id content, and then we have a br, and then we have a button there. And then if we go here a little bit deeper into it, then you see here when we do a click on the button, we do an HX post where we go to /clicked. Then we have an HX trigger, which is click. When we click on that button, we have our target, which is the ID here of the content. And then we have a swap where we say outer HTML needs to get the content of our HX post, right? So now if we run this and we click on it, we get some content. Right, so it just does a network call here. We have clicked, and on that clicked, we get a response back with some content. And that's actually because on the index.ts, we have here post/clicked, which is effectively this one, and the post/clicked. and we have some content that gets returned to us. So we can very easily extend this. Elysia, in my opinion, is a very easy API to create these kind of patterns. To extend this, we could actually do the following thing. We can add our Elysia code. And what I did here is we have here /codes. We have some data, const data name Alice and Bob. Then we construct here everything actually, and here we have our HTML, our item of data, and we can construct our HTML that we can return afterwards. All right, so I'm gonna save this. And now when we do a get for quotes, we get a get for quotes. So now we can extend our index.html page, which I'm going to do. We have here our UL, and then we have our button again for loading some data. I'm going to save this. Remember that when you are going to create something like this, you can very easily get data from a MongoDB backend. You just then create something like I don't know, quotes.ts, which is going to retrieve your data from a MongoDB or an SQL server or whatever, and then you can loop over it and then return the right HTML if you want. I'm not a big fan of this because you are mixing a little bit of HTML together with which is your presentation layer, together with getting data from a data source. But okay, if we go back in time, we had that as well with the MVC frameworks, where you also constructed and created templates that went back to the end user. The only thing that is different now is that this is on the client, and you do different actions, and then you get your data from your index.ts, right? Right, so if we now do this, we do now this, load data, we get Alice and Bob back, which is great. And here we just have our some content. So again, we can very easily then construct complete HTML content block from our server when we are going to interact with the data. So if you go to the website of HTMX, you get a lot of examples to see how you could, for example, work with bulk uploads, for example, how you are going to handle that, what you're going to do with that particular thing. And then you see here also post users and then swap other HTML, subtle 3 seconds. And then we have here our toast. If you remember that we have the defer view from Angular, you also know that you did some kind of interactions, and then the content is swapping in. Well, a lot of things are reminding myself a little bit towards this as well. So it's pretty cool. So for example here, inline validation, how to work with forms and then with inline validation, and then you get some kind of an explanation how to do this, and then some kind of a demo. So really great to explore a little bit. I am not quite sure if it's really that useful. I think when your application is very basic, you don't need that much of a interaction, but some kind of interaction with your backend with certain data points that needs to be validated, that needs to be filled in. This can be very great. You don't need to use then a React, a Vue, an Angular. Then HTMX would be sufficient. Right. So it's very emerging technology that's coming up. I also like the fact how Elysia is working. It makes it easy to see all your get and your posts underneath it, and it has some kind of resemblance with express.js. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it, and maybe you're going to use as well Bun with Elysia or with HTMX. Well, let me know what you think of HTMX. Do you think it's useful? Do you think it will replace React or Vue or Angular, or that you will stay with the technologies that you're used to right now? Thank you very much, and I hope to see you next time.